He was a farm boy from Tennessee who used to fight in bars on Friday nights and sing hymns on Sunday mornings. He tried to stay out of the war, not because he was scared, but because he had faith. But when he finally got a rifle, he went into World War I and captured 132 enemy soldiers all by himself. This is the story of Alvin York, a man who became the most decorated American soldier in the Great War without ever wanting to be famous. On the 13th of December, year 1887, Alvin Cullum York was born in a log cabin in Pall Mall, Tennessee. He was the third of 11 kids in a family that worked on a farm and didn't have much money. Alvin's father was a blacksmith who taught him how to hunt and farm. Alvin was the family's breadwinner by the time he was 24. He worked in construction, logging, and farming to keep his siblings fed after their father died. But there was a darker side to the hard work. People knew York for drinking, gambling, and fighting. He got into trouble with the law more than once for fighting while drunk, and people in the area thought he was a troublemaker. But he still went to church every Sunday. And then everything changed in year 1914. After his best friend died in a bar fight, York stopped drinking and fighting. He became a member of a small fundamentalist Christian group called the Church of Christ in Christian Union and dedicated his life to peace. York was drafted when the United States entered World War I in year 1917. But his new religion said that violence was wrong. He applied to be a conscientious objector because he said his religious beliefs would not let him kill. The government said no to his request. The Church of Christ and Christian Union wasn't an official denomination, and York was told to go to Camp Gordon in Georgia. He impressed his teachers there with his expert shooting skills, which he learned from years of hunting in the hills of Tennessee. But even though he could shoot better than anyone else in his unit, he was full of doubt. His beliefs told him that killing was wrong, but his orders told him to get ready for war. York went to his commanding officer, Captain Edward Danforth, and then to Major George Buxton to get some answers. Buxton, who was a devout Christian, sat with York for hours, quoting the Bible and talking about duty, morality, and faith. He finally gave York a 10-day pass to go home and think about things. York prayed, looked through the Bible, and fought with his conscience in the mountains of Tennessee. His mind was clear when he got back. He thought the war was necessary to stop bad things, and if he was going to serve, he would do it with all his heart. The 8th of October, year 1918. In France, the Meuse-Argonne offensive was going on. Corporal Alvin York and 16 men were sent to Hill 223 to shut down a group of German machine guns. They broke through enemy lines and surprised a German command post, where they took several officers prisoner. But as they got back together, German machine guns started firing from the ridge. 9 of York's men died right away. The others found a place to hide. York was alone and out in the open, face to face with dozens of German gunners. He squatted down so that the enemy guns couldn't aim at him. York shot them one by one as they looked for him, calm and exact, deadly. A group of German soldiers then rushed him with bayonets, which made things even worse. York pulled out his M1911 pistol and shot each attacker with one shot. He then moved to higher ground and started firing accurately from his rifle into the trenches below. People started to panic. A German lieutenant told his men to give up. York had killed more than 20 enemy soldiers and taken 132 prisoners when the fighting stopped. He marched the shocked Germans back to Allied lines with only a few other Americans. When asked how he did it, York said simply, "I aimed for the head. That was all I could see." The world paid attention. York was made a sergeant. He got the Distinguished Service Cross, which was later changed to the Medal of Honor. He got the Croix de Guerre, the Médaille Militaire, and the Legion of Honor from France. The commander of the Allied forces, Marshal Ferdinand Foch, said, "What you did was the best thing any soldier from any European army has ever done." But York didn't let fame get to him. He went back to Tennessee, married his sweetheart Gracie Williams, and made a simple life for himself. He said no to offers to make movies, endorse products, and go on speaking tours. He only used his name for causes he believed in, like raising money for roads, schools, and other improvements in his community. He eventually started the Alvin C. York Institute, a school that helps kids in rural areas have a better future. One thing we still don't know about that fateful day in year 1918 is what rifle York used. The M1917 Enfield was given to the 82nd Division, but York had trained with the U.S. Springfield M1903. His son, Andrew, said that his father didn't like the M1917's peep sights and probably traded it for a Springfield before the mission. The argument goes on, but one thing is clear. It wasn't the rifle, it was the person who shot it. Hollywood came knocking in year 1941. Howard Hawks turned York's wartime journal into a movie called Sergeant York, which starred Gary Cooper. At first, York didn't want the movie to happen, but then he found out that it could help pay for an interdenominational Bible school. The movie came out just as the U.S. was entering World War II, and it quickly became a patriotic hit. It won an Academy Award for Cooper and inspired a new group of soldiers. Alvin York spent the rest of his life quietly with his family. He kept giving speeches at events and stayed involved in his community. But his health got worse over the years. He died on the 2nd of September, year 1964, in Nashville, Tennessee, at the age of 76. President Lyndon Johnson said he was a symbol of American bravery and sacrifice. And he was. A man who didn't want to go to war, but did when duty called, changing the course of a battle with humility and faith. His statue is at the Tennessee State Capitol, not only because he was a great soldier, but also because he was a good person. Alvin York never thought of himself as a hero. "I just want to live in peace, plant potatoes, and dream," he said. But in war, he became something more. A reluctant warrior whose actions saved lives, changed the course of battles, and made America one of its greatest military legends. To honor real heroes like Sergeant Yorkmen and women who made history by being brave without saying anything, subscribe to our channel. Give this video a thumbs up to help it get more views. And please leave a comment below. Who else is a forgotten hero we should talk about next? Because stories like York's should be remembered not just as history, but as a legacy.